This is an Animated Anarchy mini episode. You can hear these episodes a month in advance by supporting us on Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/Andrew Dickman. Thank you so much for your support.
Three. Kung Fu Panda 3, actually. All right, so one for each panda. We took a little while to get to this just because we thought talking about theatrical releases is a little bit better to do on a minicast than it is a regular episode. Just for the basis of the fact that it's probably more spoiler worthy.
Yeah.
If we do newer movies, and I think we kind of want to avoid that a little bit. This is going to be exclusive to Patreon members a month in advance, and then we'll bring it on later. So
yeah.
Kung Fu Panda 3, I enjoyed it.
It was really good. It was really good.
I never really had a problem with the Kung Fu Panda trilogy. Every time there was the first Kung Fu Panda, I really enjoyed.
It was really good, and the thing about it was that it was one of those. You see the posters and the advertisements, and you're like, really, Kung Fu Panda?
Oh, especially when you see Jack Black.
Yeah, Jack Black
on the name
as a karate chopping panda.
Karate chopping,
which is sort of or Kung Fu.
Yes.
Yeah, Kung Fu Panda. And
karate is different from Kung Fu.
And so I was
someone should have told that to Jackie Chan when he made Karate Kid.
Yeah.
that remake with Will Smith's kid.
Oh yeah. But the thing about it is that you go and then you're pleasantly surprised when your expectations are at a certain point. That's what I like about the Kung Fu Panda movies, that every time I go see it, my expectations at a certain point, even if it's good, like if it's I'm looking forward to seeing this movie, and then you see it, and the last 3 times with each movie, my expectations were surpassed.
Right. Yeah. It's I'm always kind of like a sequel hater.
Yeah.
Because sequels, to me, usually the second one is never as good as the first one. And I guess that's kind of true for Kung Fu Panda 2, even though I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's good, but it feels, compared to now that there's 3 movies.
Yeah, it's the first movie that is established, and now it's just kind of it's basically an episode to a show, which, there is a Kung Fu Panda show, or was. I don't know if there still is.
No, it's over now.
But I guess there is a good way to kind of expand on the entire universe of Kung Fu Panda, that it's okay. Because there's a lot of movies out there where it's like Ice Age. I honestly think Ice Age was one of those movies where it's it should have just stayed as that one movie, and then they kept on expanding on it more and more, and they just added more characters to it.
Now there's an Easter special coming. I just found out yesterday that there's going to be a Ice Age Easter.
Above the movie where the comets are going to strike.
Well, between every movie, they seem to be doing a special between each movie.
Yeah, I guess so. I haven't really been paying attention much.
Yeah.
I actually haven't seen anything past the first movie. I remember seeing a little bit of the second movie, and I was like, okay, I'm done. And it just turned it off.
Well, I liked things about the second movie. And then as it progresses on, you're like, okay,
yeah,
where do you go from here?
I'm just the thing about Kung Fu Panda, it's you already have the established characters, and they kind of progress with them, and the only real new character is the villain.
Yeah.
And I think that's what kind of helps it in a sense, where it's not adding too many characters to it. I like the fact that they were my favorite character, the duck character, Ping.
Yeah, he's my favorite character.
Yeah, he was so great,
and he had so much more screen. I love James Hong's delivery.
Yeah,
it's so good, and he didn't. He
had a lot. Yeah, he had a lot of screen time in the third one, and
and not so much in the second one. So I was kind of I was
hoping
that there was more.
It worked. It really helped add to his character. It was they were just adding more to what was already established, and I think that's what kind of helped it. It wasn't like they were adding to it and nothing was really gained from it, and they just shoehorned some new characters in there.
Yeah, in the second movie, I think while looking at them all 3, it's still a really, really good movie. I just think out of the 3, in my opinion, it's probably now the weakest. of the two. But I'm saying weakest in the sense that it's still really, really good. It just is probably the
it's not as strong.
But the second one has my
still
favorite.
it has good stuff to it.
But the second one I think has my favorite villain in it. I love that peacock character. And then in this one,
wait, was he voiced by the ogre's butt?
Gary Oldman.
Yeah, wasn't he?
Yeah, Gary Oldman.
For the longest time, I mean, Gary Oldman, like he's voiced quite a few characters, I think, like animated movie characters, right?
Yeah.
And all of which kind of fell flat. I mean, I
look
think
at Quest for Camelot.
Quest for Camelot and what's that movie? The Swiss Family Robinson in Space movie. Lost in Space.
Lost in Space.
Yeah, it's like he kind of like, I don't know why they kept on casting him for really, really garbagey things, but for a long time it's almost like kind of casting Gary Oldman is kind of like a no-no.
Well, it's not that it's a no-no.
But it's like, I'm not saying like Gary Oldman's cursed. I'm just saying like he was given pretty bad roles, and it's not to say anything against Gary Oldman. It's like he's a great actor. I just think like this Peacock character, he was really great.
Oh, he was fun. And he was a good level of actual malice, but also of
camp,
which is good. And then the other characters like the sheep was really good. But in this movie, I have to say though, Kai is the villain who's like this big. I don't know if he's like a
water
buffalo or he's like a big water buffalo, and he's menacing, but he's not. I like fear him. Like, he's not as intimidating as say, what is it? There was Shen, who was the peacock, and then
and before the
in the first one,
leopard,
the snow leopard.
Yeah, and he's pretty menacing.
Yeah,
but it's like they play it off as Kai is like the more of a joke character than most of the other villains in this in the go round. It's like the Peacock still had like some silliness to him, but
he's probably the most serious.
Yeah,
the most menacing.
Yeah, he actually kind of has a cameo also in the third one. It's like you see him like passing by as
it's
pose.
It's the flashback.
It's the flashback.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one thing that we probably should mention, because that triggered in my mind, there isn't a lot of traditional animation in this one.
There's less, but at least they have sequences of it.
Yeah, they do have a couple, but it's like not as much as the second one. The second one had like a ton of traditionally animated stuff to it.
Yeah.
This one has like a lot more experimentation with
the CG
filters, like CG filters that make it look cel shaded.
Yeah.
And it kind of was really neat.
It was great seeing it on the big screen because it's so. I mean, you look at the art direction on this movie was so good and so beautiful,
Yeah.
and then the ducks are loose. Help! Holy Jesus!
Is that?
Yeah, it's them.
Yeah, take Ford.
Shit.
So now there has to be a Kung Fu Panda 4. Oh wait, you mentioned before that Katzenberg.
Yeah, Jeffrey Katzenberg. I read a thing about him saying that because of the success of the third one, they're going to do 3 more movies.
Oh God. Yeah, because when success is successful.
Yeah, but the director said that these movies take one step at a time. So until they figure out what would be a good movie, they won't start on until they figure out.
Yeah, I actually hope that they just wrap it up and move on because that they need to just become more fresh again. But anyway, you were saying.
I was saying that I think
Mike went out to get our Chinese food, which
is coincidental.
Yeah,
that we got Chinese.
Purely coincidental.
That's why That's why Mr. Ping was calling us from outside.
Yeah. Anyway, continue.
But I was just saying that it's the art direction in this movie is so good. Mm-hmm. It really does feel like a Chinese kung fu movie in terms of how it's structured and how the styling and everything. You watched because the first movie came out in 2008?
I think so. Yeah.
And then the second movie was 2011, and then there was like a 4 or 5 years between.
Probably.
And it's funny because I watched the first 2 after seeing the third, and it's weird seeing how the art direction progresses. Like the first one, and even the second one in a way is kind of I don't want to say it's a joke, but it's so different and so it feels so limited compared to what they did in the third one.
Yeah, that's kind of true. It's like I think the second one was a little bit more spectacle than it was choreograph, I guess.
Well, there's a lot
Been a
of big
while.
choreographed moments, especially with the fighting.
Yeah.
In the
But-
third one, there really isn't that much fighting.
No, there isn't, but there is like a very, I mean, it feels like a traditional Chinese kung fu movie.
Yeah.
More so than the other two.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that has anything to do with the fact that most of this was done in DreamWorks China. Because wasn't this split between?
Yeah, both their new studio in China,
Yeah.
and here it was like a cross production,
Yeah, yeah.
a co-production,
Right.
And the animation in this movie is so there's never a moment where you look at the animation and you feel like there's a jump or that the quality goes down.
And this
The
also-
animation is so much more nuanced in this movie too.
And this movie also has like a lower budget, which also kind of explains why there isn't as much traditional animation in it. I'm just assuming.
Well, the CG is so much more expensive than the traditional.
Yeah.
But I mean, the movie even feels shorter than the other movies.
Yeah, it kind of does.
So, but it's not a bad thing. It's not
No.
like, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
you know, the characters are still really good. They capture them really well. And Jackie Chan has.
Yeah, Jackie Chan has like 3 more lines outside of the 2 lines that he had in the second movie.
Yeah. And same with Lucy Liu. And then
Oh God, Lucy Liu had like even less like lines than her last.
they knew
the last
that
movie.
Seth Rogen and David Cross are like the improv comedy guys, so they gave
Yeah,
them a
they're-
whole sequence together.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
have a
that's
sequence
true.
in the movie.
Yeah, so they just brought him.
Yeah.
I mean, he has. They have more lines in this movie than anything.
And I like that we see. I mean, not to be spoilery, but
But it's like those characters are kind of like their background
yeah,
characters that aren't necessarily important, but they add to it. They add to the whole world of this.
or like how just Poe,
Mm-hmm.
because Poe functions with the 5, and when he's with the 5, they're almost like a whole.
Yeah.
Like a team, like as one.
Yeah.
But then individually, you see like occasionally Mantis will make a joke, or
Mm-hmm.
Crane will say something, or
Yeah.
Tigress will say
They're
something.
better as a team. They work better when they're together because then you have like those really neat choreographed fighting scenes
Yeah.
with them all together.
There's
so.
really only 3 major fighting sequences in this movie.
yeah, that's
with
true.
the Jade Warriors, and then when Kai battles them at the temple, and then Poe's final battle.
Yeah.
And it's a fun scene, and there's some really fun. There's some like kind of fun, but in a weird way forgettable pandas in the panda village.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like there's a Wayne Knight panda with crooked teeth who likes to hug things.
I forgot it was Wayne Knight.
And then there's Dim and Sum, which is like I think probably the biggest pun name
yeah,
in the whole
that's-
movie.
Yeah.
It's Dim
Oh,
and
yeah,
Sum,
yeah,
and one of
yeah.
them's voiced by Al Roker.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I was like, okay. And then there's a Kate Hudson sexy panda who does ribbon dancing.
yeah.
And then there's a cute little baby
She's adorable,
panda.
by the way.
The baby panda?
No, the lady panda.
Yeah, she's cute.
Yeah, she does like things with her, I guess, a ribbon.
Yeah. And also, I'm glad to see a movie where, because after seeing Godzilla, was it 2 years ago?
Yeah.
To have a character like Bryan Cranston, who's probably the emotional core of that movie, just killed off.
Right.
It was great to see a movie where, you know, Bryan Cranston's not only being a character that's really fleshed out in the movie, but also, you know, doesn't die.
Yeah,
And he's actually
yeah,
really
yeah.
funny too. He's a comical character because Poe's father comes back and he's played by Bryan Cranston.
Right.
And then there's a bit of a jealousy thing between him and Ping.
Yeah.
But then they come together, and I think that's one of my favorite moments.
I
in the movie.
honestly, yeah, I like the fact that it's the two. Well, spoilers. The two dads get along better. Like it's not like, oh, lost one father, gain another one, or it's like I was honestly waiting for Ping to be like, sometimes I just have to let go, and then he lets go of Poe or something to be with the pandas.
This is a
and I was
great
like,
line. It's like it's not like I'm losing a son. It's not like you're taking him away from me. You're just making Poe happier.
Yeah, yeah.
So
yeah.
he doesn't lose anybody. You're just adding more to his life, which is the key.
And I think that's a nice little
Yeah.
lesson.
And that's why I mean, like Ping in each movie is such a strong character because he's such a simple, like funny character with obsessed with noodles and the noodle dream. And in the first movie, just that whole speech about how there is no secret ingredient. If you believe it's special because you believe it's special.
Yeah.
And in this movie, it's about he kind of after he and the father and Poe, the father lies that he can teach him chi.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing about this movie too, is that each movie has a specific not a moral, but
Like a
drive,
goal.
like a goal. So like Poe in the first movie learns that he's special, who he is, and he becomes the Dragon Warrior because he believes in himself and that he's special. Second movie is letting go of the past and moving forward.
Yeah.
And having wounds heal.
Yeah.
And the third movie is about understanding chi and learning that the best way you have to learn to be yourself.
Yeah, learn to be yourself, and he was basically teaching others as well.
Yeah, because he become Shifu says you're a teacher now, and he doesn't know how to teach, but he realizes what he has to do is figure out what their strengths are, and then teach them according to.
It works really well. I think it like all came together in the end pretty well.
Yeah.
I was kind of worried about how the whole chi thing was going to come into play.
Yeah.
But by the end of it, I was like, okay, I buy that.
Yeah.
This is the like I said, the most kung fu movie esque Kung Fu Panda movie I think of the three.
Yeah. There's more actual kung fu probably in the second one because there's a chase through a town.
Yeah.
They're jumping up a building. There's a fight at the end with cannons and all this crazy action. But the third movie, there's a lot more comedy and character stuff, I feel like, in the third movie.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And I was glad that the montage of him, it feels short, but there's a whole montage where he teaches the pandas how to fight, and it's only like a 3-minute sequence.
Yeah, it's good.
It's better than it, because then there's a whole thing about him learning how to be a panda to learn chi.
Right.
And that's really kind of it's not, actually that's probably something that is not really, it's spent too long on, but it's still not pushed far enough on.
Yeah.
But
it was good. It was enough. It was enough for what they needed.
But the thing is, that's the thing. Like, I enjoy this movie just because I like the characters so much. I like Poe. I like Mr. Ping.
Yeah.
I like the villain. I like the father. I like all the characters. There's really no
the characters are really
even
cute.
the villain I like. There's not a character that I don't like in this movie.
Yeah,
just like in the previous movies, there's no character that I'm like, oh my god, this character's so annoying and I hate them.
I guess I guess the argument of like the villain is not as effective as the others because he's not as intimidating. But at the same time, it's like I like how he's silly, but he is still intimidating.
Yeah,
and
he's very unique compared to what was it, Tai Lung, who is very kind of just sort of gruff and anger, rage coming out, and then there's that subdued Peacock who just sort of fights with strategy and with brain.
Yeah.
Then you have this character who's just sort of this, not a lummox, but
He reminds me of Kratos from God of War, especially because he has those weapons.
Yeah, these big swinging blades on chains.
He really does feel like Kratos.
Yeah.
So, overall, I think what we can take out of this is that Kung Fu Panda 3 is, if you like the first two, you're going to like the third one anyway.
And it's the best bear movie to come out this year. And it's the first animated film we saw this year, and it's a good start to the year.
Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah.
The other bear movie being The
Power of
Norm of the North.
Well, it's funny, I was at Americana, and I was just taking a break, and I was taking a walk about a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
And I looked up at there's a movie theater down at Americana, and I saw they had a poster for The Revenant, a poster for Kung Fu Panda, and then in the corner, a really tiny poster or marquee for Norm of the North.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, there's 3 bear movies battling at the box office. One is a realistic bear fight.
Yeah.
One is a kung fu fighting bear,
all
and the other
CG
one
bears.
is and they're all CG bears, and then a twerking Rob Schneider bear.
Yeah. Yeah.
So go see Kung Fu Panda 3.
Go see Kung Fu Panda 3.
It's worth seeing in the theater.
Of the 3 bear movies, well, if you want to see Revenant, go see
Yeah.
Revenant. But of the 3 bear movies, Kung Fu Panda 3 is good.
Yeah, go see that one, especially in theaters, because the art direction, like just
see
seeing
it in theaters. I went to see Deadpool last night, and they were calling out. I was like, Kung Fu Panda 3 is sold out. Sold out. Now
it's been in theaters for like 3 or 4 weeks.
It's been in theaters for a while, and they're selling out. I think that's pretty cool. So
I'm glad because it's a good movie, and just the colors alone.
Yes,
the color styling alone was worth seeing in the theater because you're just
nice.
like you're assaulted by color, and not in a bad way.
You're assaulted by color.
It's good.
All right, yeah. All right, Kung Fu Panda 3, go see it.
Yep.